Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Cheer at Rio for India. Wrestler Sakshi Malik creates history, wins bronze medal in women's 58-kilogram freestyle event. India rejects Pakistan's proposal for talks to resolve Kashmir issue, says Pakistan uses terrorism as instrument of policy of diplomacy. Nepal Deputy Prime Minister to visit India as the special envoy of Prime Minister Prachanda. Visit after Nepal's special envoy visited Beijing to deepen bilateral ties with its northern neighbor. And over 80,000 people evacuated as massive wildfire rages unchecked in Southern California. Over 12,000 hectares already burnt. Well, our top focus this morning, India has turned down Pakistan's proposal for Foreign Secretary level talks on Kashmir. Now, the government has asserted that terror will remain the core concern and Pakistan needs to address that first. Now, Indian envoy to Pakistan, Gautam Bambavle, handed over India's response to Pakistan's Foreign Office on Pakistan's invitation for talks on Jammu and Kashmir. Here are all the details.
India on Wednesday rejected Pakistan's proposal of Foreign Secretary level talks on Kashmir. The government asserted that instead it wants to discuss the cross-border terrorism that is more relevant to the current situation in Jammu and Kashmir.
The problem is that the terrorism issue has become so central to the relationship that effectively it makes it very difficult for the relationship as a whole to progress. We saw that at the beginning of the year at Pathankot. Challenges that we faced in the last few weeks have only underscored the point.
Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar responded to Pakistan Foreign Secretary Aizaz Ahmad Chaudhry's invitation. Expressing willingness to travel to Islamabad, he maintained that Pakistan had no locus standi in addressing any aspect of the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, which he stressed is an internal matter of India.
What you have seen in the last 2 years is a great effort on our part to reach out to Pakistan and find common ground on the many issues that face the relationship. But the last time this was done was in December when the Foreign Minister went there for the Heart of Asia conference and we agreed to look at the comprehensive bilateral dialogue which we hoped would begin in January this year.
आतंकवाद को लेकर के सारे विश्व ने चिंता प्रकट की है। आतंकवाद का जन्म कहां से हो रहा है, उसको प्रोत्साहन कहां से दिया जा रहा है और पाकिस्तान की उसमें क्या भूमिका है, ये भी अब बात कोई छिपी नहीं रही है।
Pakistan on Monday invited India for talks on Kashmir, saying it is the international obligation of both countries to resolve the issue. The invitation came amid tension in bilateral ties due to the war of words between the two nations over the issue.
पाकिस्तान जो है वो अब अंडर प्रेशर है, बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर में है और वो बगैर बातचीत करे बहुत समय तक नहीं रह सकता। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि उसकी वजह से उन्होंने मिक्स स्टेटमेंट दिए हैं। एक तरफ तो अपनी जनता को दिखाने के लिए सरताज अजीज़ से कंडेम कराया है प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के स्टेटमेंट को, दूसरी तरफ उन्होंने बातचीत की भी बात की है, इसलिए कि पाकिस्तान की इंटरनल सिचुएशन उसको बहुत ज़्यादा परमिट नहीं करती, इसलिए कि भारत का एक फर्म स्टैंड अब है, उसमें कोई कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं होगा।
हमारे जबरन जो ऑक्युपाई किया गया है उस हिस्से में अगर ह्यूमन राइट्स का वायलेशन होता है तो उसको भी हम कंडेम कर रहे हैं और वो जब यहाँ पर हमारे इंटरनल मैटर में इंटरफियर कर रहे हैं तो यही बताता है कि उनके पास ह्यूमन राइट्स को तो इतना वायलेट हो रहा है, कोई बात करने वाले नहीं है। यहाँ तो हमारे संविधान के मुताबिक हम चल रहे हैं, यहाँ पर कोई चीज का वायलेशन नहीं है।
Last week, India made it clear that it will talk on contemporary and relevant issues in Indo-Pak relations. It also included a cessation of Pakistan-supported cross-border terrorism. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Foreign Secretary also touched upon India's ties with China. Now, accepting that ties with China faced some challenges in the recent past, Jaishankar termed the ties a mixed picture. The Foreign Secretary was referring to China recently blocking New Delhi's NSG membership bid and UN sanctions against Pakistani terrorist Masood Azhar. He, however, said that India has largely been able to address two big constraints in the ties. One is opportunities for China to invest in India and easier travel regime for Chinese nationals. News from Jammu and Kashmir, and an all-party delegation from violence-hit Jammu and Kashmir will meet President Pranab Mukherjee today to brief him of the situation in the valley. Now, National Conference leader and former Chief Minister of the state, Omar Abdullah, said that the delegation will press for a dialogue with all stakeholders in the valley and discuss the real ground situation. The leader has also demanded a probe by a retired Supreme Court judge into the allegations of excessive use of force by the security personnel. The decision came on Wednesday in a meeting attended by leaders of the National Conference, Congress, the CPIM and independent MLAs.
ये पहली मर्तबा हमने देखा है कि मरकज़ में बजाय ये कि हुकूमत इनिशिएटिव ले, अपोजिशन ने मजबूर किया हुकूमत को कि वो जम्मू कश्मीर पे बात करे। हमने अपने कुछ आगे के कदम के बारे में ज़िक्र किया है, कुछ मरकज़ की हुकूमत को भी हमारा एक अपील गया है और कुछ हमारे सजेशंस रहे हैं जिससे हमें लगता है कि कम से कम अगर फौरी तौर एक हल नहीं तो कुछ तो हालात को बेहतर करने में थोड़ी सी मदद मिल जाएगी।
On to some other news. Well, Nepal's Deputy Prime Minister Bimlendra Nidhi will visit India today as the special envoy of Prime Minister Prachanda. Now, this comes days after the new Nepalese government sent an emissary to China. The move to send emissaries to India and China is said to be Nepal's bid to woo its two giant neighbours and firm up bilateral ties after the formation of a new government. Now, Nidhi, who also holds the Home Affairs portfolio, will begin his two-day visit beginning today. He is likely to discuss matters relating to the proposed visit to Nepal by President Pranab Mukherjee and Nepalese President Bidya Bhandari's visit to India. Well, ahead of the visit, Indian Ambassador to Nepal, Ranjit Rai, met Nidhi at his office. Now, Rai assured Nidhi of India's continued support to Nepal in areas including security and the implementation of development projects. Meanwhile, Special Envoy Deputy Prime Minister Krishna Bahadur Mahara has said that Nepal accords a priority to China in its foreign relations and abides by the One China policy. Mahara made the remarks in Beijing during his meeting with the Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. Mahara said that Nepal will strengthen coordination and cooperation with China and implement all the consensus already reached between the two nations. Now, his visit comes following anxieties in Beijing over the fate of several projects connecting China and Nepal signed by former Prime Minister Oli to reduce the landlocked Nepal's dependence on India. Meanwhile, back home, 13 people have died in Gopalganj in Bihar after suspected consumption of spurious liquor. The deaths came despite prohibition on consumption implemented in April. Now, authorities say the reason behind the deaths is not clear and they have ordered a probe. While some family members allege that the victims consumed spurious liquor, others gave in writing that spurious liquor was not the reason for the deaths. Now, authorities say that a single reason may not be the cause of the death since they have been reported at different times from different locations under 5 police stations. Now, following the deaths, the BJP attacked the Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, saying that the state government is working to cover up the reasons for the death.
अभी तक कुल 10 मौतों की हम लोग को सूचना है। कल 7 मौतें हुई थी और आज 3 मौतों की सूचना प्राप्त हो रही है। और जहां तक कारण की बात है तो अभी तक मेडिकल रिपोर्ट हम लोग को प्राप्त नहीं है। कल हम लोग ने एक 3 मेंबर्स कमेटी भी गठित की थी कल रात में और कुछ बॉडीज हम लोग को जो प्राप्त है उसका हम लोग पोस्टमार्टम करवा रहे हैं। मेडिकल रिपोर्ट आने के पश्चात ही हम लोग कॉज ऑफ डेथ की पुष्टि कर पाएंगे।
बिहार में अगर अवैध शराब बिक रहा है अभी लोग पीने से मर रहे हैं तो निश्चित रूप से नीतीश कुमार को नैतिक जिम्मेवारी लेनी चाहिए और खुद उनको इसकी जवाबदेही अपने ऊपर लेनी चाहिए, आज उनको इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
Let's now take a look at the flood and rain situation across several states of the country. Well, the flood in Bihar has inundated over 10,000 acres of farmland in at least half a dozen villages under the Patna district in the last 48 hours. Now, even though there is no rainfall in the catchment areas, floodwaters from Mokama and Patna have caused unprecedented rise in water levels. Now, the residents of the locality have taken shelter on high places with their belongings. Meanwhile, heavy rains is expected in Kolkata and its surrounding areas on Thursday, with the deep depression being headed towards Jharkhand. A 70-km/h storm hit the city without warning on Wednesday evening, leaving a trail of uprooted trees that crushed to death at least 3 people and left several neighborhoods without power supply until late in the night. Meanwhile, heavy rains in some parts of Himachal Pradesh have claimed 29 lives so far. It has caused damage to crops and property, and the loss till date has been pegged at 567.32 crore rupees. As many as 166 roads and 3 bridges were washed away. 1,426 rural water supply schemes, 580 irrigation schemes, 30 urban water supply schemes, 15 flood protection works and 16 sewage schemes were affected, and all were temporarily restored. On to some other news. Well, the Supreme Court has ruled that those below 18 years of age cannot participate in the Dahi Handi festival. Now, Dahi Handi is a popular ceremony held on the second day of Janmashtami. The apex court also restricted the height of the human pyramid to 20 feet, adding that it was dangerous to allow small children to participate in the ceremony. Well, the order came in response to a clarification sought by the Maharashtra government on the August 2014 verdict by the Bombay High Court that limited the height of such pyramids to 20 feet. In 2013, 190 people were injured while participating in the ritual.
The Honorable Supreme Court has said that nobody can participate who is below the age of 18 years. And the height of the Dayandi must be 20 feet, not above that. And it will be all over Maharashtra or all over country.
And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
From caudies to metal pieces, Indian currency has seen many changes. The earliest punch-marked coins came from Gandhar. The East India Company at the turn of the 19th century also minted its own coins. The Indo-Greek coins come from a colony left behind by Alexander. They depict the golden rule of the Guptas, with embossed human portraits and matrimonial alliances like Chandragupta Maurya's wedding with Seleucus I Nicator's daughter.
News from Olympics and good news for India. Wrestler Sakshi Malik created history on Thursday as she won the bronze medal in the women's 58-kilogram freestyle event at the Rio Games. Now, Sakshi became the first Indian female wrestler to win an Olympics medal after beating Kyrgyzstan's Asulu Trinbekova 8-5 in a thrilling match. Now, she's only the 4th Indian woman athlete to win an Olympic medal after Karnam Malleshwari, Mary Kom and Saina Nehwal. Now, like in 3 of the 4 other bouts earlier in the day, Sakshi won the crucial bout after making a comeback in the game. She, in fact, had lost 2-9 in the quarterfinals to Russia's Valeria Koblova in the 5th bout of the day before getting a second chance in repechage when her conqueror reached the final. Now, Sakshi's victory brought cheers to the Indian contingent that had endured agonizing 11 days without a medal.
और हमें याद आती हैं ये दो झंडा ऊंचा रहे हमारा, जी हां, कांस्य पदक के उद्घोष के साथ
खुशी जी पर भारत का पहला मेडल साक्षी मलिक ने जो है इसने भारत का बहुत ऊंचा नाम किया, हरियाणा का ऊंचा नाम किया है जी। इस जीत के बाद हम उसको बाकायदा ढोल बाजे से एयरपोर्ट से पूरा गांव में गाड़ी ढोल बाजे के साथ ले आएंगे और यहाँ स्टेडियम में उसका बहुत बढ़िया प्रोग्राम करवाएंगे।
वो पहले होता था कि लड़कियों को इतना नहीं रेफरेंस दे पाते थे, लेकिन अब तो लड़कियां लड़कों से ज्यादा ही हैं। चाहे वो घर से हैं, घर वाले भी लड़कियों को ज्यादा ही रखते हैं। और वो जो उसकी जो मेहनत है, उसने शुरू से ये सोच लिया था कि लगन थी जो कि मैं जो घर से निकल रही हूँ प्रैक्टिस के लिए, मैं एक दिन मेडल जरूर लेके आऊंगी ओलंपिक के लिए।
And meanwhile, India's lone medal hope in the badminton, PV Sindhu will take on Japan's Nozomu Okuhara in the semi-finals today. Now, a win against Nozomu Okuhara in today's clash will assure Sindhu of a historic medal. Earlier, Sindhu scripted a stellar 22-20, 21-19 win against former world number 1 and London Games silver medalist Wang Yihan to enter the women's semi-finals. However, India's campaign in the men's singles ended after Srikanth suffered a 6-21, 21-11, 18-21 loss against world number 3 in a nerve-wracking quarter-final. Well, let's get you some more news from the Rio Olympic Games. Well, India shuttler Kedambi Srikanth lost his quarter-final match against a two-time Olympic and defending champion Lin Dan. Now, Srikanth fought bravely after a poor start, putting in a magnificent display in the second game. But still, he fell short against the Chinese as he lost 6-21, 21-11, 18-21. Meanwhile, in the 48-kilogram weight class wrestling, it was painful to end to Vinesh Phogat's campaign as he got injured during the quarter-final. Now, Phogat had to concede the match to her Chinese opponent after she failed to get up after injuring her leg. She earlier thrashed Romanian Emilia Elena 11-0 in her opening match. On to some golf news, and Indian golfer Aditi Ashok fired a flawless 3 under 68 to lie tied 7th position after opening round of the women's golf competition. Well, Aditi picked up 3 birdies at the 2nd, 10th and 14th holes and parred the rest to stay 3 strokes adrift of the leader. Meanwhile, in athletics, Tintu Luka failed to qualify for the finals of 800 meters. Luka led the pack after the first 400 meters, but ran out of gas in the next lap to finish 6th in her heats. And some more events that made headlines at the Rio Games. Let's take a look. Well, Brazil swept past Honduras 6-0 into the final of the men's Olympic tournament on Wednesday. Neymar scored a brace, including the fastest goal in the Olympic history. Gabriel Jesus got 2 more, and Marquinhos and Luan added 1 each. While Brazil will now face Germany in the final on Saturday after the Germans overcame Nigeria 2-0 in the other semi-final clash. And defending Olympic champions, the Netherlands are through to the finals of the women's hockey competition after beating Germany 4-3 on penalties. They will next meet Great Britain in the final. And in badminton, Indonesia's Ahmad Tontowi and Liliana Natsir stormed on Malaysia's dreams of a maiden Olympic gold medal by hammering Chan Peng Soon and Goh Lee Yung in the mixed doubles final. The world number 3 pairing bounced all over the Malaysians from the first point and never dropped the pressure in the 21-14, 21-12 win. And Kenyan Conselsus Kipruto won the men's 3,000 meters steeplechase gold medal in Rio with an Olympic record time. The 21-year-old finished in 8 minutes 3.28 seconds to edge American Evan Jagger into silver. Well, let's take a look now at the overall medal tally on day 12. Well, the United States leads the table with 93 medals. That includes 30 gold, 32 silver and 31 bronze. Britain stands at the second spot with 19 goals, and China retains the third spot with 54 medals. That includes 19 gold, 15 silver and 20 bronze, while India finally got a breakthrough in the medal tally by winning a bronze medal in wrestling. And the Court of Arbitration for Sports will hear the World Anti-Doping Agency's or WADA's appeal today against a clean chit given to Indian wrestler Narsingh Yadav. The WADA on Tuesday filed an appeal with the Court of Arbitration for Sports against the clean chit given to the wrestler following a recent positive dope test. Remember, Narsingh Yadav was tested positive for a banned anabolic steroid in the dope test that was conducted on 25th of June. However, Narsingh claimed that he was a victim of a conspiracy by his rivals, a theory that was accepted by NADA, which exonerated him after a hurried appeal. If now CAS or the Court of Arbitration for Sports upholds WADA's appeal, then he will not only be able to take part in the 74-kilogram freestyle competition and could also face a career-threatening 4-year ban. Let's get you some cricket news, and India will take on West Indies in the fourth and the final test match at the port of Spain. Now, India is leading the series 2-0 heading into the final game. India has been the dominant side in the past 3 tests. It won the first test by an innings and 92 runs. It ran West Indies close in the second match as well. But rain and a spirited effort from the West Indies batsmen on the 5th day helped the home side salvage a draw. Now, India then hit back with a 237-run win in the third match. India will have to win this test to retain the rank. Otherwise, Pakistan will dislodge it from its position. Meanwhile, India will take over top spot in the world rankings if they beat West Indies in this match.
It's a nice incentive, but it doesn't really change anything for the team. Our goal has been to play good cricket, and we've done that in the past 1 year or so, and we want to continue with the same. Even last year when we won against South Africa, because of some other team losing, we became #1 for a brief period. But I think to be the best side in the world, you need to play consistent cricket for a span of 3-4 years. That's what we feel. This is a pretty immediate and short-term incentive. That's what I feel.
Let's get you some international news. Well, China rolled out a red carpet welcome to Myanmar's Foreign Minister Aung San Suu Kyi. Well, Suu Kyi today kicked off a 5-day visit to China, the first after her government took over power. Now, Beijing welcomed as the head of government in recognition of her status as the highest-ranking political leader of Myanmar. Now, Suu Kyi met with the Chinese Premier Li Keqiang, and during the meeting, she gently reminded Beijing about reviving its $3.6 billion hydroelectric dam project, which was stalled over public protests for the last 5 years. Now, she is also expected to meet President Xi Jinping. Now, Suu Kyi's visit comes roughly 1 week after the Myanmar president decided to form a new commission for reviewing all the proposed hydropower projects on the river. It was suspended by former Myanmar military government in 2011 following public protests. Now, Chinese media regards Suu Kyi's visit as a diplomatic victory, as she is visiting Beijing before visiting the United States or Europe, which backed her during her prolonged campaign against rule by Beijing-backed military junta. And more than 82,000 people have been ordered to evacuate in Southern California following a huge blaze that has ravaged a mountain pass. Now, firefighters are continuing to tackle the blaze that many describe as the most ferocious that they have ever seen. The Blue Cut Fire, as it has been named, has destroyed homes and disrupted transport links between California and Nevada. Some people have been running for their lives just ahead of the flames. The blaze first ignited on Tuesday in a drought-ravaged mountain pass. and a day later it has now spread across nearly 12,200 hectares. Now, the flames have advanced out of control despite the efforts of 1,300 firefighters. Although it falls within the mandatory evacuation zone, some residents have remained, keeping an eye on their homes and another on the fire. Now, given the dryness and ongoing warm weather, U.S. government forecasters have said that Southern California faces a potential threat from major wildfires until the month of December.
It's currently at 30,000 acres in 0% containment. It burned 30,000 acres in one day. So it's a fast-moving fire. It's very intense, fast rate of spread. It's burning in very steep, rugged terrain with an accumulation of dead fuel buildup as a result of the fire, as a result of the drought. Excuse me. We're in the 5th year of drought. That in combination with the hot weather, low relative humidity, and winds that we've been having is resulting in a fire that's moving very fast, very intense.
Oh, no, never. That Mountain Lakes I had never seen burn. The community church burnt, I heard, and I had never seen anything like my whole life. And I've been here since '68. And I've seen this mountain on fire, I've seen these mountains on fire, but this thing's coming around, and I'm afraid of it now.
I'm not leaving because we're surrounded by all greenery, and once the fire gets down to the bottom, they should be able to put it out right there because it's all green, and we got all kinds of people up there, and we got all kinds of water pressure, so we're going to be safe.
Well, that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Wishing you all a very happy Raksha Bandhan. Thanks so much for watching.